This is Diomande, and he is Real Madrid's newest Galactico.
To create room for himself, going on a slalom run of the highest order. Still, Diomande! It's out of this world!
At just 19 years old, Real Madrid are betting on potential. People will look at the fee and say that's ridiculous money for a player who had one good season and not insane stats. But the thing is, he has all the qualities needed to become the best winger in the world. He is so good in 1v1 situations. Very few players in Europe completed more successful dribbles than he did during the 2025-2026 season. In fact, across the top 5 leagues, only Barca's Lamine Yamal finished with more. Diomande doesn't just rely on being fast either. He's super unpredictable with the ball. He constantly uses quick changes of direction and clever body feints to send defenders the wrong way. One moment it looks like he's carrying the ball down the outside, and the next he's cutting back inside before the fullback can react. If the defender shows him the outside, he'll burst past them and whip these dangerous low crosses into the box. If they try to block that route, he'll cut inside onto his stronger left foot, where he can either unleash a shot or slip a perfectly timed pass into a teammate making a run. That unpredictability is difficult to coach into a player. It's a quality you either have or you don't. Defenders can't simply force him in one direction because he's comfortable hurting them either way. Every one-on-one becomes a guessing game, and more often than not, Diomande comes out on top. Another thing that stands out about Diomande is he's not just a winger who hugs the touchline all game. He knows when to stay wide and stretch the pitch, but he's just as comfortable drifting into central areas to get involved in the attack. If the fullback follows him inside, space opens up on the wing. If he stays wide, Diomande can receive the ball between the lines, turn, and run directly at the back line. His numbers at RB Leipzig show just how effective his style can be. Yes, I understand that his stats are not necessarily good enough to justify a 100 mil transfer fee, but they are still pretty good stats for a teenager who just a few years ago was playing in the United States. In his first Bundesliga season, he scored 12 goals and added another 8 assists in just 33 league matches. He also created 11 big chances and had some ridiculous expected assist numbers. So no, this guy wasn't just dribbling to entertain people, he was consistently creating clear-cut opportunities for his teammates. Now he gets to create those same chances for much better players. Like, respectfully, there's a big difference between creating for Mbappe and creating for Conrad Harder. What really separates Diomande from a lot of modern wingers is what he does without the ball. Most attacking players who are as good as he is on the ball would want to take a break or rest during their defensive duties. Diomande is not like that at all. He is constantly pressing defenders and battling for loose balls. Yes, I know battling for loose balls is a crazy sentence, but you guys know what I mean. During the 2025-2026 Bundesliga season, he contested more duels than any other player in the league, showing just how involved he is in every phase of the game. He isn't afraid to sprint back into his own half to help his fullback. Trent is really going to appreciate that. And the moment possession changes, he's one of the first players charging forward to win the ball back. For Jose Mourinho, that's the dream. That kind of work rate is priceless, especially when the biggest criticism around Real Madrid in the past few seasons has been that their attackers don't do enough off the ball. Throughout the 2025-2026 season, Diomande produced one standout performance after another. He got his first hat-trick of his senior career in a 6-0 spanking of Eintracht Frankfurt. Since he was just 19 years old, he also became the second youngest player in Bundesliga history to score a hat-trick. Every goal highlighted a different part of his game, but they all came from the same strength. Perfectly timed runs in behind a high defensive line and clinical finishing when the chance arrived. When Leipzig faced Frankfurt again later in the season, Diomande delivered another fantastic performance. He scored once, repeatedly beat defenders off the dribble, won countless individual battles, and just destroyed everyone. Against Union Berlin, he showed the other side of his game. Instead of being the finisher, he became the creator, setting up a goal, creating several more chances, and helping drive Leipzig's attack with his smart passing and intelligent movement. It was the kind of all-around display that shows he's much more than just an exciting dribbler. Now, of course, there's less space in La Liga than the Bundesliga, but I'll get to that later. Diomande's impressive form carried straight into the 2026 World Cup. On his tournament debut for Ivory Coast, Diomande became the youngest player in the country's history to appear at a World Cup. He marked the occasion with a man-of-the-match performance against Ecuador, cooking the defenders down the right wing and playing a huge role in a vital 1-0 win. He followed that up with another milestone against Curaçao, providing the assist that helped send Ivory Coast into the knockout rounds and becoming the youngest Ivorian ever to register a World Cup assist. Even in the defeat versus Norway, Diomande showed just how good he was as he caused problems for the Norway defense all game. For a player still only a teenager, it was an incredible statement of just how high his ceiling really is. Because I have to remind you guys, it wasn't that long ago that this guy was playing academy football in Florida. At just 15 years old, he moved to the United States and joined Diamande Academy. His combination of speed and technical ability made him stand out almost immediately against players his own age. His rise continued in 2023 when he was named the Starry Player of the Year after leading Diamande's affiliate club, Frenzy, to the UPSL Premier Division title. It was the first major sign that he had the talent to make the jump to professional football. Later that year, he earned the chance to train with Scottish Giants Rangers. Although the trial didn't lead to a contract, it gave him a valuable taste of European football and the physical and tactical demands that came with it. It was another important step in his development. The breakthrough finally arrived when Spanish side Leganés signed him in late 2024. You know, the club with the pickle as a mascot. He officially joined the club in January of 2025 and was initially placed with the reserve team, but he barely stayed there. After impressing the coaching staff in training, he quickly earned a promotion to the first team. His La Liga debut couldn't have been much bigger. In March of 2025, he stepped onto the pitch at the Santiago Bernabeu against Real Madrid, making his first appearance in Spain's top flight. Just over a month later, he scored his first professional goal in a 3-2 win over Espanyol. So by the end of the season, Diomande had made 10 La Liga appearances, scoring twice and adding an assist, despite getting limited minutes. More importantly though, he looked completely at home against experienced defenders. His confidence, fearless dribbling, and that explosive pace immediately caught the attention of scouts across Europe. It was clear that Leganés had uncovered something special. So just 6 months after arriving at Leganés, RB Leipzig decided they had seen enough and activated his 20 million euros release clause, bringing him to Germany on a 5-year deal in the summer of 2025. He scored on his debut in the DFB Pokal, giving Leipzig fans an early glimpse of what was to come. A few months later, he opened his Bundesliga account in a dominant win over Augsburg, before announcing himself to the rest of Europe with that stunning hat-trick against Eintracht Frankfurt. From that point on, there was really no looking back. Diomande became one of Leipzig's most dangerous attacking players, combining his explosive dribbling with goals and creativity throughout the season. By the end of the Bundesliga campaign, he had scored 12 goals and provided 8 assists in just 33 league appearances. Across all competitions, he finished with 13 goals and 10 assists, playing a huge role in Leipzig securing a 3rd place finish and another season of Champions League football. He was named the Bundesliga Rookie of the Season, picked up the VDV Newcomer of the Season award, won the Bundesliga Player of the Month in April of 2026, and also collected Rookie of the Month honors twice during the campaign. For a player who had only made his professional debut a year earlier, it was a remarkable rise. Diomande had gone from an exciting prospect to one of the Bundesliga's brightest young stars in the space of a single season, and now he's Real Madrid's newest star. The race to sign him was actually crazy. Liverpool were the first club to make a serious move, submitting an offer worth 90 million euros plus another 10 million euros in bonuses. Leipzig was like, nah, we're good, because they valued him close to 120 mil. Then the Baguette Warriors PSG entered the race, as if they didn't already have the best wingers in the world. The French champions held extensive talks with Diomande's representatives, and reportedly even agreed on personal terms for a long-term contract. The problem wasn't convincing Diomande, the problem was convincing RB Leipzig. According to reports, PSG refused to match Leipzig's asking price, and instead proposed leaving Diomande on loan in Germany for another season after completing the transfer. Leipzig had no interest in that idea. The negotiations collapsed, and PSG walked away. That opened the door for Real Madrid. Mourinho was eager to add more pace, width, and work rate to his attack, so Madrid made Diomande one of their top priorities. They felt he was going to solve one of the biggest tactical problems in the squad. For the past couple of seasons, Madrid's attack has been too predictable. Too much of their play flowed down the left side, where Vini and Mbappe naturally like to drift and start an orgy. Not to mention even Rodrigo loved the left-hand side the most. Time after time, opponents simply overloaded that side of the pitch, forcing Madrid into crowded areas and making their attacks much easier to defend. Diomande changes that immediately. Yes, Diomande played a lot of games on the left-hand side at RB Leipzig, but he played even more games on the right-hand side, so he's equally good on either side of the wings. What's great about him is that he stretches the pitch, and since he's so dangerous on the ball, defenders have a difficult choice. If they stay compact to stop Mbappe, Bellingham, and Arda Güler through the middle, Diomande gets isolated against a fullback in a one-on-one situation, and that's barbecue chicken. If they shift across to deal with them, gaps begin to open in central areas for Madrid's biggest stars to exploit. Just his presence makes the entire attack more balanced. He also gives Mourinho exactly the kind of winger he loves coaching. Mourinho has always demanded that his wide players work just as hard without the ball as they do with it. And as we discussed earlier, that's one of Diomande's biggest strengths. That work rate is especially valuable because it helps cover one of Madrid's biggest weaknesses. Mbappe, the dictator, has never been known for doing large amounts of defensive work, and Diomande's energy allows Madrid to stay compact without asking the dictator to constantly chase defenders. Because you don't tell Mbappe what to do, he tells you what to do. Diomande can also help Trent defensively on that side. His versatility gives Mourinho more options. Let's say Vini is injured or suspended or just needs a rest. Well, Diomande can play on that left-hand side and play at a high level. But think about the team fully healthy. A trio of Vini, Mbappe, and Diomande is insane, and it's way more balanced than what they previously had. Players with his profile are incredibly hard to find. He combines elite one-on-one dribbling with a work rate that few attacking players can match, and he's just getting started. He's still so young. That's why Real Madrid are betting on potential. They're paying for the player they believe he'll become in the next 5 or 10 years. The only question is whether Real Madrid have the patience to see a raw, talented player develop. At Madrid, winning is the bare minimum, and after 2 trophyless seasons in a row, the fans are impatient. They don't want to see a 100 mil winger using Real Madrid as a training ground to develop. They want to see stats right away. So if Diomande doesn't deliver quickly, fans are going to get antsy. But you could argue that's the risk with anyone Madrid signs. The other question mark is how will he deal against low blocks? He is a fantastic dribbler, but the space you get in La Liga is very different from the space in the Bundesliga. The way teams set up against Madrid is not the same as the way Bundesliga teams set up versus Leipzig. The hope is that he hits the ground running, but that might be an area where it takes him some time to adjust. I mean, you guys remember Mbappe's first few months? The good thing is that Diomande is a player who has already risen so quickly, so there's nothing to suggest that he can't keep rising. If you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you will love this one too. Check it out right here.